Have you ever considered buying an exotic pet, such as an iguana, a parrot, or perhaps even a tarantula? How would you know its origin was legal? Or when you go to the supermarket, do you ever consider that your fish might have been caught illegally? Wildlife laundering refers to a phenomenon whereby wildlife is sourced in contravention of national regulations and sold into legitimate supply chains, often through seemingly legitimate businesses and using fraudulent paperwork. Wildlife harvested illegally in biodiversity-rich source countries often finds its way into legal markets in destination countries, including the UK, the EU, US and Canada, and Asia. Focusing on Colombia and Mexico as case studies, this new research by RUSI sought to evidence how illicit actors launder wildlife and assess the regulatory and enforcement gaps that allow it to happen. So you might be wondering, why is this a big deal? National regulations and international frameworks exist to prevent endangered species from unsustainable exploitation. By circumventing these regulations, illicit actors undermine conservation efforts and threaten the biodiversity in source countries that keeps ecosystems in balance. Wildlife endemic to Colombia, such as poison frogs, has been bred and sold in other countries, despite Colombia never authorizing exports for those species. As well as straining wild populations in Colombia, this reduces opportunities for stable income and jobs to be generated locally from wildlife, such as through sustainable breeding farms or ecotourism. Instead, rogue breeders pay local communities a couple of dollars to illegally source animals from the wild, and then smuggle them out of the country and make money from them in legal breeding operations abroad. Our research shows that persisting traceability and transparency challenges create opportunities for this kind of wildlife laundering. Wildlife laundering also has broader implications for national security. By operating through legitimate corporate structures, the supposedly legal wildlife trade provides an opportunity for organised crime and conflict actors to diversify their revenue streams and launder illicit proceeds from other crimes, like drug trafficking, through seemingly legitimate wildlife trade. In key fisheries in Mexico, for example, organised crime groups like the Sinaloa cartel have monopolized fisheries and exert control over the whole supply chain, coercing businesses to buy illegally harvested fish. This undercuts legal fishers, driving resource competition. At the Amazon tri-border, a similar scenario is playing out with riverine fish products like pirarucu, which is facing increasing international demand for its scales used in designer leather products. Armed actors like the dissident FARC launder their drug proceeds by using cash to finance pirarucu fishing. This makes armed groups more resilient, complicating enforcement efforts. Despite these implications for national security, our research found that wildlife laundering often goes undetected and even less often results in prosecutions due to a lack of sufficient resource and technical expertise in key agencies, limited international cooperation and political sensitivities, and perceptions of wildlife laundering as an administrative offence rather than a serious crime. As such, concrete evidence on the scale of wildlife laundering and the networks involved remains limited. We argue that more proactive due diligence and financial investigations into exporters and buyers must be conducted to deter wildlife laundering. This will require strengthened legal frameworks, routine international cooperation, technological innovation to improve transparency and traceability, and cross-sector collaboration.